Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Please abiding by AFTERBIRTH Plus. Tanked it on the last run, died as the Forgotten. It's an embarrassment. It's a character you should not be able to die as, in my opinion. I think it's an ethical breach that we allowed that to happen. P3LM MPYD. Let me look at the stats here. Forget Me Now is a free item. It's like a time-delayed mystery box. It's actually 2 free items, and maybe whatever consumables we can get out of it as well, now that I think about it more closely. Let's try a tower card right here. Could have been worse. We got a good rate of fire, good damage. I would actually say great luck. Having a full 1 luck this early on in a run is a little surprising to me. Will this work? Oh, it'll work. Work, 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 work. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. As I've told you many times, I do listen to the radio, but most of the time, I do what, you know, people in my demographic do when they listen to the radio, and choose the radio station that plays as many songs that they already know as possible. When I'm in the car, I'm focused on driving, so I want to hear some Pearl Jam. Something I've heard many times before, don't have to focus that much. The lyrics just come to me. I want to hear Sublime's What I Got. I don't want to hear Dua Lipa's New Rules version 2.0. I don't want to hear Despacito, aka Duolingo. We're just going to head down, because it's better for us to use this on the next floor, increase our chances of getting 2 deals with the devil. It has a knock-on effect mathematically, you know? We should, unless things go horrendously awry here, we should have a really good chance to get a deal with the devil, 100 probably, and then on top of that, if we Forget Me Now, we should have a 33% chance to get the next one as well. Pardon me? Alright. We're slowly recreating Zodiac here, and I'll take a Tears upgrade. I think like our raw damage stats are already better now than they ever were on our last run, which is kind of well, it says a lot about our last run. But I also squandered like so many potential deals with the devil on the last one that I have to, you know, I'll admit, I got, if you're hot-blooded with a fever of 103, I got a fever of 103.1 right now. It's hot. Like that song they play in movie trailers, but you never actually hear in the wild, where like Adam Sandler and his family go to Hawaii and the band is going like, keep it hot, hot, hot. That's a trailer song. Nobody's buying that album, let me put it that way. More Tears upgrades. Now this, I wouldn't describe it as a bummer yet, but if we get Krampus's head, it's a bummer. Okay, it's a bummer, because we can't take it with us. Even though we, you know, we could Forget Me Now, we still can't grab it in time. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's any way you can make that happen. So I will invest here. We have not been to our item room or our shop. We got our item from a crawl space, which actually is one of the rare crawl spaces I should have mentioned. It's almost like better than a black market, at least in the mathematical sense. We got an okay item for free. It's actually a good item. The knockback is like not particularly strong, I think. Some people value knockback in this game. I consider it like, it's not like shot speed. Most of the time it's irrelevant, in my opinion. Leprosy is okay. Could be better, could be worse. But yeah, it's one of those situations where if I got a Tears upgrade, I'm like, oh boy! But I got a Tears upgrade and knockback, and the knockback actually made me believe that the item is worse than it is, which is not correct. This isn't the NHL. I'm not taking on salary. $0.31 on the second floor. We are, I mean, I'm happy to be way ahead of schedule, because we're going to have to... Why not? We're going to have to continue to be way ahead of schedule with Forget Me Now if we want to have any chance of doing boss rush, which we may not care about. I guess we'll see. Devil, Judgment, pop a Judgment down. I wouldn't mind getting HP. I wouldn't mind getting a map. Whatever you can give me that you like, I'm for. Yara. I'm actually going to blow you up. because I want to save 5 cents for the chance to have an arcade. We got enough money to make that happen. All right, we have like, this is an unfathomably good situation to be starting with. This is like having wealthy, college-educated parents. It's like we have the 100% the world is our oyster. The only thing we're missing is hunger. And honestly, that's probably a good thing for us right now. Now, it doesn't mean we can't screw it up. You ever hear that affluenza kid? Parents were extremely wealthy. I say kid, he's probably like 24 now. Parents were extremely wealthy. Kid, you know, lived a life where there was no consequences. There's an anecdote from when he was growing up, where like he was disciplined at school for being a piece of garbage, but as a child, so still a moldable piece of garbage. And his parents had the administrator replaced, the administrator that punished the child because they threatened to like pull their donations and financial support to the school. So the school was like, yeah, we'll fire that dude. I don't see any problem with this. Anyway, long story short, he killed a person while he was drunk driving and then like fled to Mexico, and his mom aided and abetted his flight from responsibility, which is hilarious, but also very telling, you know? So we're in an affluenzable situation right here. That's why, like, if I have a kid, if I have like a net worth of $50 million, until my child is 15 years old, they will think we are broke. My parents, they had me when they were young, but they were relatively, and they will dispute this, I'm sure, but they were relatively financially stable. They both worked, you know, decent jobs. My dad moved up in his business as he got older, so they provided a nice living for me. But honestly, until I was 15 or 16, I thought that my family was broke. It was only when I was like, wait a minute, our fridge is always full. And at the grocery store, if one of us is like, I want this, they're like, okay, fine. You know, we didn't buy extravagantly. You know, my dad drove like a Ford Taurus and then a Honda Accord. It's not like he was driving Lamborghinis or anything like that, but, you know, I think that I ended up still being like a little bit spoiled, for sure. Like, I've lived a pretty privileged existence, I'll admit. Never went hungry, you know, never had to buy like 8-year-old textbooks because the new one was too expensive. I'm very thankful for that, and I recognize, you know, the element that essentially a roll of the birth dice played into it, without a doubt. And even I still turned out a little bit like, you know, Mama, is there any chèvre remaining in the refrigerator? Oh, there's none in the upstairs refrigerator. Check the downstairs refrigerator, sweetheart. You know, like I still turned out like a little bit like that, although mostly that was a joke. So if I end up fabulously wealthy, I feel like my kid cannot know. Is like, my kid goes to bed at 8, and they're like, Dad, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh, I think we have 1 apple left, but that's all right. I'll just go hungry tomorrow, sweetheart. And then when the kid goes to bed, we bust out the, like, beluga caviar, champagne, Dom Perignon, various other French foods. They can't know. They just, and then it'll be a surprise for them on, like, their 18th birthday. I'll be like, surprise, we're rich. And they'll be like, sick, does that mean I get a car? And I'd be like, are you crazy? It means you get a job. You're 18, get out of my house. I'm not gonna do that. You ever wonder about that? I'm assuming most of the people watching this are roughly millennially aged. When I was, let's say 12, just as a, you know, relatively round number. When I was 12, for you to live with your parents when you were 30 was a sign that you have failed in life. The economic conditions have changed so starkly that that's, I don't know if I'd say it's the norm, but it's certainly not unusual. Like when I hear of a friend of mine, because my friends are, you know, that age, you are the one that takes up my spacebar item slot. I will go with you, because I haven't had you in a while. When I hear of a friend who's like, yeah, I moved back with my parents for a little while I'm like saving up for a down payment. I'm like, dude, that's sick. You're saving so much money. Tell me more about how much money you're saving by living with your parents. That's incredible. You're the luckiest person on earth. So I'm thinking, like, I don't know, are things gonna get economically better or economically worse? when you have a kid now, do you just plan on the kid staying with you until you die? That's how it was, like, when I lived in Korea. Apparently, like, in Korea, it's considered, like, selfish to move out of your parents' house before you're married. So people live with their parents willingly until they're, like, you know, at least in their early to mid-20s most of the time. Sometimes even older than that. So many generations living under the same household. You know, I can see the benefit, but there's also negatives. Like, my sister-in-law, Kate's sister, has 2 kids. She and her husband are both very busy. They work high-stress jobs, long hours. And the kids are overachievers, so they're doing everything. They're in, like, private schools, and, you know, there's a daycare they go to before school. They go to, like, you know, math class after school. You know, they're very busy kids. So my mother and father-in-law have moved in with them. But they don't have, like, a basement suite. They just have a bedroom next to the parents' bedroom. Pardon me. I'm not trying to, you know, be like, you can't bone loud. Doesn't that suck? I'm just saying, you essentially, you get free daycare, more or less. But there is a cost. I like chocolate milk, but I also like our rate of fire as is, so I may regret this, but let's go for it. I needed that speed upgrade, so that's very good. Like, I'll tell you straight up, right now, I love my parents. I just got back from being at my parents' house, and I loved every second of being there. But if I had to live with them again, as a 29-year-old at least, I would maybe murder them. In the most lovable way possible. Because, you know, I've been on my own too long. You know, I mean, well, not on my own necessarily, but I've lived relatively independently for too long. You know, at 17, I moved out of my parents' house with essentially them footing the bill for me to live in university residence. And then, you know, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year of university, we did go to our item room. We didn't go to the shop. I think that's okay. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year, I lived off campus in a house with a few of my friends. Again, my portion of the rent pretty much exclusively covered by my parents and, you know, the meager pittances I made from unskilled summer labor. And then I moved home for like 6 months. Then I went and lived in South Korea for a year. By myself. Yeah, let's grab it. Why not? Came back. Lived with them for like another 6 months and then moved out to Vancouver. So basically for like the last 10 years I've lived at home for like a year. I can't go back. It would be hard. I almost as well, like, I think it's when you live with your parents, you are under their house, you kind of play by their rules. You know what I mean? So like, I know if I'm in my parents' house, we were staying a couple of nights at least in like one of the guest bedrooms, and it was right next to their living room. And they wake up at like the crack of dawn because they're, you know, getting up there. It's just the older people tend to wake up earlier. They've been waking up at like 5:30 for their whole lives, so they're like, it's Saturday, I'm gonna sleep until 5:45. So 5:45 in the morning rolls around, and their TV is against the wall that the guest bedroom is on. So I wake up after like 4 hours of sleep to CNN. Now, it's their house. I'm not going to go out there and be like, hey, stop watching the news in your own house. You know, that's... Both of these are so fun, though. I'll take Monstros long, but... If it were my house, I would be put in the awkward situation, I think, where I would feel more inclined to lay down the rules, and I just don't know if I have the stones to yell at my parents and be like, hey, that kind of behavior is not cool in my household. You know, I haven't been built to talk back to my parents like that. I've been deferential my whole life. Anyway, just a weird dynamic. I really feel like, you know, maybe we should just plan on a child living with you until they're like 40 at this day and age. It's not really because people are struggling, you know, to start because of a personal foible. It's because the economy's so jacked up. I'm not trying to say, like, again, if you're watching this and you live with your parents, you have my sympathy, and also, I should have your sympathy, because living on your own is expensive. There's pluses and minuses both ways. It was hard to go back to living with my parents for a little while after I lived in a foreign continent by myself for a full year. Like, I would leave the house and they'd be like, where are you going? And I'm like, all right. You have to answer to people sometimes when you live in another establishment. Anyway. Yeah, just walk over the spikes. Who cares, right? I like this right here. Look at that. Put your left foot in, put your left foot out. I think you start with the right foot, but I'm left-handed, so put your right foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hoogie boogie and you do yourself around. That's what it's all about. But look on the bright side. Maybe millennials are just a cursed generation, destined to live through, 2 or 3 recessions that happen at like exactly the most important inflection points in our lives. When we leave high school, when we leave college, when we're supposed to be establishing our careers, etc., etc. And the generations that follow us will instead have most of those happen when they're still in elementary school and they got nothing to worry about. Maybe we're only the generation that's lost. And everything after that will be fine. Just, if I have a son or a daughter, first birthday, I'm just going to buy him 1 Dogecoin. Just hedge your bets. Maybe it'll work. I do think if you're wealthy, you have an obligation to your children to not let on that you're wealthy. Even if they don't end up, drunk driving and murdering somebody, I just think it sets up, like, unrealistic standards and expectations, Like, when you're wealthy, and I know this because I live in a city of, like, extraordinary, just brazen wealth, where I get cut off all the time by, like, 17-year-olds driving Lamborghinis. But you live in a bubble that doesn't actually exist in the real world. Where you're like, yeah, my dad got me a BMW for my 16th birthday, but it was the wrong series. Dude's an idiot. Works all day just to buy me stuff. Can't even get that right, You gotta hide that wealth. That's it. Hey, you got to hide your wealth away. See, it works. That's the Beatles. It's called art, honey. Look it up. Here I stand with bread in hand, not eating any naan. Because in my head, naan, Indian food's kind of expensive, There are expensive cuisines. It's very annoying to me, because they tend to be very good. Indian food, I'll just tell you straight up, I would eat it all the time if it weren't so expensive. I don't know if there was a community tribunal and they agreed that, no, it's like the maple syrup conglomerate in Canada, nobody's going to sell a chicken korma for under this price across the entire world. No matter where you, well, I wouldn't say no matter where you go, because, I've never been to India. But, it seems like it's always expensive. Even, in my hometown, there's like a lunch special at the Indian restaurant. I went there like 8 or 9 years ago. It was $14. That was when I was making $9 an hour. So I was like, man, I get 45 minutes for lunch, and I just spent, like 90 minutes plus tip at this lunch place. Like, you have to think of everything in dollars per hour. So I'm not like the biggest fan. I think I'll actually go with this right here. Teleport out. Already got the wafer. It is a wafer thin. I promise you, you don't want to live your whole life thinking in dollars per hour. At low levels, it's extremely good, but you will find yourself prone to like just a clinical level of malaise and existential ennui. When you start buying like a home or something like that, you'll be, oh, 100,000 hours, huh? Well, that's only 10 times as long as Malcolm Gladwell says it takes someone to master something, so that's a pretty good deal. What do you got for me? Ace of clubs. No thank you. Yes. Probably should have checked for ace of diamonds, but two of diamonds, I should say. Yes. Oh, I love it. Every day. Sure. I will still take it. Got HP out of it as well. Still going strong. We don't need Judas' Shadow. It's unlikely to ever work for us here. Y'all, one guppy item away. This should be such an easy win. What are you? Yara. We should roll Yara Emperor. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is I feel for you. If you're in that situation. I've been there. It's even, you know, when I was with my parents, I had to adjust to their schedule. They wake up at 5:45. They eat dinner at like 5:30. It's a hard life. I'm not ready for dinner at 5:30. 5:30 is normally when the NLSS ends. I'll have like a little snack. I don't eat dinner till like 11 Pacific time, aka 2 in the morning, my parents' time. If they moved here, they would have a hard time, I think. I loved this floor. I'd have to wake them up for dinner. And it would be pizza every night. All night. Oh, every night. Because we have the wafer, we can get away with this. I got an email today. That was a waste, but from Papa John's, who I have ordered from not one time. Excuse me. This is the same trinket. Who I have ordered from not one time in the past 7 years. We used to live relatively close to a Papa J's. And I would order from there on occasion. The email said, "We're changing our privacy policy, but not our great pizza." It's like, man, unsubscribe from this newsletter. I don't know why everyone with these privacy policy emails, they've really slowed down a lot since, you know, the GDPR or whatever rolled over, but no one's ever saying, like, we gotta update our privacy policy. They're always trying to put some kind of joke in it. Like, I'm gonna get an email on my phone, it's gonna give me a push notification. It'll be an email from Papa John's, and the only thing it'll say is, "We've changed." And I'm gonna be like, no, please tell me, Papa John's. My heart almost stopped. Please tell me you didn't change your pizza. I don't care, man. I would actually be more excited if the email said we changed our great pizza. At which point I would be like, maybe I'll give you another shot. I don't think Papa John's is terrible. I just, it's not my go-to pizza chain. Really depends on where you are. Vancouver, big fan of a chain called Pizza Garden. Large New York style pizza slices. Another chain called Panago. I like it decently. Domino's is okay. As I mentioned many times in my conversations with Dan Giesling, I have a soft spot for Pizza Hut that I'm pretty sure boils down to having always been given Pizza Hut as a reward for doing well in baseball and reading a lot of books growing up. So it has created like a lifelong association in my head that, like, there's a warm fuzzy feeling to eating Pizza Hut. And that sticks with you for life, man. That's what, like, the Coca-Cola Corporation's trying to do. They make you always associate, like, you know, you ever, at the movie theater especially, you'll hear, like, a Coke ad in the Dolby Digital 5.1 surround sound. It's always like, glug, 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 and there's, like, fresh condensation on the outside of the glass, and then the guy goes, ah. Nobody on earth does that when they drink a Coke. What they want you to do, though, is the next time you're drinking a Coke, that's rolling through your head. And you're like, I'm so refreshed right now, just like Jillian Jacobs in that Diet Coke commercial. Guppy? No guppy. Well, we're just gonna move along here. We got a pretty easy coast to the finish. I know Pizza Hut is not good. There's like 2 fast food chains I know are not good, but I still, if you were like, hey, do you want to go here? I'd be like, ooh, and what time? Hey, Tomo, Oh, you scared me.
Pokemon time.
Are you gonna catch that refrigerator Pokemon?
I hope so.
Reginox?
Reggie,
Yeah, that's the one. So I was just making the most haunted door sound I conceivably could. One of those chains is Pizza Hut. I don't think it's a great deal. Pay like $21 for a meat lover's pizza from Pizza Hut. But if you're buying, I'll have a couple slices. The other one is KFC. Talked about it many times. It's one of the very few fast food places. If you're like, oh, I like KFC, people judge you. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm okay. I just like extremely oily fried chicken. Do you have a problem with that? People always try to dissuade you, especially at Pizza Hut. They're like, did you know they spray grease on their pizza? Isn't that an affront to everything? And I'm like, no, I'm going to a pizza restaurant that is named after the shape of the building. Do you think I have any self-respect right now? You could tell me the pizza is made with, like, ants, and I'd be like, sick, dude. I'll take a large meat lovers, please. And bring out those shakers with the Parmesan cheese. While I've said it many a time in my life, I've never eaten at Taco Bell. We almost had the opportunity in my hometown, and I was like, I'm gonna go to Taco Bell. Specifically, oh, that's Guppy. ×2. Specifically because I've never been to Taco Bell before. And then, I don't want to throw her under the bus, okay? She's my wife and I love her very much. But Kate was like, why don't we go to Wendy's instead? And everybody in the car was like, yeah. And I was like, can you just drop me off at the Taco Bell? But I didn't actually say that. But I should have said it. What is going on here? We actually... Yeah, I'm just doing that. Because we could have avoided it until the moment that Plan C showed up, which is just terrible. Oh, you are destroyed. So I'm still, rest assured, in my day-to-day life, I'm still looking for an opportunity to go to a Taco Bell so I can speak about it for once. Everyone, when I talk about Taco Bell, now I've never eaten there, people go, yeah, it's okay. I need to know now. It's like drinking a Mr. Pibb, you know? I've had enough Dr. Pepper in my day. I just need to know for comparison's sake. It could fuel many anecdotes in the future. Well, this run is like 100 times better than our last run. I'm even starting to sound better. Except when I sing like, you know, you got to hide your wealth away. I can feel my life returning to me. There's going to be a day I'm going to record like 80 videos and I can't wait. I'm going to be so just jazzed. I'm going to be high on the adrenaline of not being ill anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. I'm still a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.